Okay, Stella and Kaylee, in order to get started on our last project together, what you're going to want to have is that drawing that you did last time with that has all of our measurements. You're going to want to have that somewhere nearby so that even as I talk about what we're going to do, you'll have yours in reference to the side so you can always check yourself. So have that. You're going to need your black sheet of paper in front of you. You want to have it the long way, vertically. And you're going to want to have your chalk pastels. Now, mine look different than the ones that you got a long time ago, which were thicker, but they're all the same, so it doesn't matter. You just want to have some chalk pastels available. The other thing that you want to do is that mirror that I talked about. Ooh, you can see how dirty it is. You're going to want that set up somewhere so you can see yourself. You do not have to draw yourself exactly, but since you know you very well, that kind of can help to give you some basic guidelines when we're doing a portrait. Before we get started on our own portraits, we're going to look at a couple of famous portraits done by artists throughout history. On this slide, we have three of my favorite portraits. One is by John Singer Sargent. That's the woman with the dark black dress. And you're seeing her from the profile of her or from the side. In the center, we have the Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci. And off to the right, we have Johann Vermeer's portrait of a girl with a pearl earring. And each one of these you can see is a different angle of the face, and he uses a different kind of color palette. Now in this next set of portraits, you can see it's these are more modern portraits, and they are quite a bit different, where the painting styles are different even from each other. On the left, we have a self-portrait by Van Gogh, and you can see his ear is bandaged. He's known for having hurt his ear. And in the center, we have a Frida Kahlo self-portrait as well. Unlike the three that we just looked at, where we had an artist painting a model, the three that we are currently looking at are artists painting themselves. On the right is a self-portrait by Norman Rockwell, and he was a famous American illustrator, and this portrait, self-portrait, is really fun because he's painting himself. And so anyways, there are a lot of different styles that you can do for portraits and self-portraits. You can have backgrounds that are plain or ones that show the room or the space behind the artist. It doesn't really matter. But that's what we're going to be working on today. We're going to be working on getting all those facial features in the right spot, and then adding color. So let's get ready to have some fun. So like all those portraits that we saw by famous artists, drawing people and faces is something that we have been doing throughout the history of humans for a very, very long time. We are going to be doing ours today instead of in pencil with our chalk. So we're going to start with, you want to start with a light color. This is that darker, like golden yellow. You want something light, so you could do that. The white is almost too light. We're going to be smearing our colors together and blending them. So I would say like, kind of a light brown, a dark yellow, a pink, anything that we can start using to blend into your facial tones. That's what you want to do. So the first thing we're going to do is just like what we did last week, except for you're going to be drawing your own oval in, and of course you did that for your practice drawings, so that's not going to be too hard for you. Now you can look in the mirror and see some people have longer faces, some people have very round faces. I actually have a pretty round face. Some people have really pointy chins. So this time I want you to look in the mirror and kind of see what shape face do you think you have. And so you can see I adjusted it, and I'm going to be smearing stuff. So it doesn't matter. That's why we're just using our chalk, because we'll be blending. Then we're going to put in our basic lines. We're going to divide it in half. We're going to divide it in half again. I'm going to check it. Check mine. Okay, so with this, I'm going to move my line up just a little bit because I was down just a little low. Let's just check our measurements. Much better. Okay. So you can adjust. We are going to be marking where our eyes would go. And again, maybe I'll just grab my pencil. We have 5 of those that would go across. So that's about right. So in between those spaces, that's about where we're going to fit our eyes. And you can look at your eyes. Everyone's eyes are slightly different, but it's just basically a nice oval shape primarily. Some people have eyes that are a little bit more ovally, and some people have eyes that are a little bit more round. It just depends. So look in that mirror, because you want to, if you're going to give your person any kind of features, you want it to be close to your own. All right, so we're going to divide that bottom in half again. And then this goes in half. That's going to let us know kind of where everything's going to go. We're going to do little lines that come down. That's going to give us a sense of where our nose needs to go, about how wide it needs to be. And like we said before, you need to do those little C's. And you can do a little wiggle line. Now, your nose, the bridge of your nose, is going to be thinner. Now with the chalk, I'm bringing it all the way down. Last time, we didn't do that all the way across. We kind of had that blended like that. I want you to go ahead and look at your nose. Your nose might be a little bit smaller than the width of your eyes. So we're just marking it because we're going to be covering the whole thing in a basic color, and then we can kind of change our minds and add our lines really specifically. So I put that little kind of diamond shape in, which is the upside down V and then the regular V. That helps form our lips. And again, you can look in that mirror. Do you have lips that are have a really strong shape, or are they straight across? And how thin do your lips get out? One of the things we didn't talk about last time, but if you put a line through the center of your eye, I'll just actually draw a line. That's about how wide your lips are going to be. Somewhere in there. That doesn't mean that it has to be that wide, and it doesn't mean it's going to be that wide all the way around, but that gives you a good sense of about how far out they're going to go. Now we're going to put that lower lip in. A lot of people have bigger lower lips than they do top lips. So we're going to go back up to our brows, and we've got this space here that's going to be going, we're going to be marking that for our eyebrows. And again, look at your eyebrows and see what you can see. Now, one of the tricks that we didn't talk about last week was sometimes if you look at your face straight on, it tends to go in just a little bit near your eyes, and then it might come out, if you have high cheekbones, a little bit to the edge. So oftentimes when I'm drawing a face, I will bring that in just a little bit. And I'll do that before I do the ears. And of course, our little trick that we know about the ears is they're about as long as the nose. So I had to adjust that. Our neck is going to come along the jawline, because our head is going to be 7 to 8 pounds. So those are the basic shapes. And we're gonna go and give ourselves shoulders. There you have it, girls. Those are the very basics. If you need to take a little break and adjust anything, I want you to go ahead and get the basics like this drawn in, okay? The other thing I didn't mark yet was our hairline. It's about halfway down. You can start to mark up some of your hairline, and some of it will probably go up and over your actual head. But we're not going to color that in until we get all the skin tones in. I'm going to just draw a line here for my shirt collar, but I don't want to color a lot here because I'll smear it with my arm when I'm working on the rest of my face. If you have an extra sheet of paper, you can pull that out and use that to cover up your drawing so your arm doesn't smear it. So I started with this kind of pinkish color. I'm going to go in and start filling in on the side the main area of the face. And this goes really fast, which is, I think, kind of fun, how fast it goes. I get the ears. Now, my skin really isn't this color, so it's okay if you just want whatever color that you chose. And you can see I got my neck now. Now that's just kind of this pink color. I can take my dark yellow and I can start adding that to it. And what's so great about the chalk is that it's very soft and it's going to blend. I added just a little bit of the yellow. You could add a little bit of a nice medium, it's actually my dark brown. You want like a medium brown, that's going to be where you have any your face is filled with shadows. That means that some areas are going to be darker. Talk on the side. So I've used my medium brown, my dark yellow, my pink, and now I have like this off-white. It's kind of like an almond color. I'm going to go over with that as well. Use some of those colors and you can layer them on because we're now going to blend them. I'm going to take that paper towel that I talked about and I'm just going to start, I put my finger in it, you can see, and I'm just going to start to blend. Now you don't want to do it too rigorously because if you do, you'll make all of the chalk just come off. Kind of see what it looks like is there's a bunch of dust. And it is interesting because we have that black paper underneath, so it's really going to make our chalk stand out. If you haven't worked with chalk, you might not have known how easy it blends. It's really a lot of fun. I'm not going to blend in my lips or in my nose yet. I'm just going to get kind of the skin around it. Okay, so you can start to see kind of how that changed it up a little bit. With the black in the background, all of those colors kind of feel grayish. We're going to use our dark brown now. And I'm moving my paper up a little bit to protect this. We're going to go in, and you can look in the mirror, and I want you to put in your lines for your eyes. And we're going to add the white part of our eyes and the pupil. Now you can add, like we did in our drawings last week, an extra line on top. I'm going to take my white and I'm going to fill in. Now I lightly blew some of that dust to the side. Now I just have very brown eyes, so I'm going to make my eyes brown. I do not know what color eyes the two of you have. So go ahead and choose that color. Look in the mirror, see if you can find just the right color. My pupil in, or my iris in, and now I'm going to use the black for the pupil. The pupil is the part of your eye that dilates, smaller and bigger to take in more light. I always like to leave a little white spot. And I'm guessing when you look at yourself and you look at your eye, you have a dark rim around your eye. So you're going to go ahead and put that in. And just put an outline in there. And I'm just going to outline that top part of my eyelid. I'm not going to go all the way across. So can you see the difference? We've got our one eye, we did quite a bit, and then obviously our other eye we need to start adding more of the detail. I'm going to tap this because it's got all sorts of dust. Whenever you feel like you have a lot of dust, you can see all of it that came off from the chalk, you can always shake it out. We're going to go ahead and do the other side. I'm going to use those same colors. I started with the darker brown, and I just was defining the outline that we first put in. And when you do this, I really want you to look in the mirror and then kind of look at the eye that you have already drawn, because they should match pretty well. I'm going to draw that eyelid. The key to getting your eye to really stand out is you want to get that white in once you have the shape. And then you're going to fill your eye in whatever color. I think the dark brown is a nice, it's just a nice color for doing your outline in. But obviously once you get it, once you have your color in, you want to go ahead and put the pupil in. And I like to kind of keep checking it against each other. So there we have our two eyes. I'm going to take a little bit of that, my lighter colors, and just get that eyelid covered. You can always take your paper towel. Now we're going to create a little bit of shadow between your eyes in this space where this bridge of your nose sticks out, and then in here where your eyes are set into your face a little bit, it gets a little darker. You could also use some orangey tones too. Looking for these to be really super realistic. We're having fun with some of the color. That's where the light's going to hit, so we just put a highlight under there. You can blend that a little bit with your finger or with the paper towel on your finger. But mostly the area that sticks out the most, it will be the lightest. And you don't have to define a lot. You can just have your little lines that are down here underneath your nose. Get your dark brown to create the shadow there. I think this is actually my medium brown, so you can get medium or dark brown. And basically those were your two little C's. 1, 2, like that. And I'm just going in with my finger and I'm blending it, and it's okay if some of that is just the way it is. I think I'm going to take my darker brown. Because your nose sticks out, so it creates a shadow. So we're going to take a little bit of whatever lighter color you used, and make sure you blend that right above your lip. We're not even, like I said, we're not going to be blending all of this down perfectly. We're just trying to make your nose stand out, your eyes stand out. Usually on your forehead, you can add a little bit of lighter color. And you can kind of blend that with your finger. And some of it you don't have to blend at all. Now I want you to look at your eyebrows. Do you have light eyebrows or dark eyebrows? And you're going to go ahead and put those in. And you want to look at your eyebrows and say, are they real thick? Are they thin? Do they come out really far? And I'm just doing little lines. I'm going to do that on both sides. Now I'm going to take my black. I'm just going to go very lightly on the very outer edges of my nose. Okay, so we did them with the darker color. And now I just did a couple of lines. I want you to see. See them? They're not even all the way across. I want you just not to even worry about it. I'm just going to blend my nose just a little bit to make it a little less white. Because really, even though it's the lighter part of my face, it's not quite that light. And if I do a light area here. Now, if you don't have any of these colors, you're like, I don't have a lot of white, you can always use your yellow too. Your yellow, your orange, and just like what we have here. You just can blend them and mix them. I'm just darkening up just a tiny bit along the edge. You do not need to do that if you don't want. That was like extra. You don't have to do that. Okay. So we do have just that soft little black outline. Now you're going to choose a red or an orange or a pink. I'll start with a light pink, and I'm going to completely fill in the lips. And you can see on mine that my mouth is partway open, so I'm just going to leave that dark. If you did a light one, then go ahead and get a slightly darker. And you can actually use a nice brown because your lip tone it's not like it really actually is red. It's usually just a little bit darker than your skin color. So whatever your skin color is, your lips tend to be a little bit darker. So I'm putting the red on top, but I'm going to blend it. I'm going to get my paper towel again. And when you blend it, you take off quite a bit of it, which is sometimes nice so you don't have too much. Now you can see I've got so much chalk here. I'm going to tap that off again. Just kind of shake it and you can see it come off. because all of that chalk will smear. So now I'm going to go in with my dark brown and I'm just outlining. And I can use, because I smeared it, I can add just a little bit of black again in between the lips if I want to make the mouth look like it's a little bit open. And I would say, I think I'm going to use that orange again. I kind of like that orange. And just blend that in a little bit. You want it to look different than the rest of your skin tone. And you can do lines up and down. We aren't going to spend, I don't want you to worry about too much about trying to get it perfect. This is just really, this is our first practice drawing with chalk. So you also should look at your eyelashes. I actually have mascara on today, so my eyelashes are dark when I have mascara on. They are not dark on their own. They tend to be very hard to see because they're very light. But if you want to put your eyelashes in so you can see them, you can use black, but you could use a brown as well. Or you could use a dark yellow, whatever you want to do so you can get it to stand out. I'm going to go into the eye, in the iris, and just add some of those lines. If you look really close to your eye, you can see that. So there you go. You can see I got my eyelashes. We have our nose, we have our lips, we have the basics of our ears, which are going to be good for us today. I'm going to just outline those a little bit. Underneath your chin, we added a little bit of dark. So you can go ahead and I just added a little bit more. Just blending it in with my fingers. You can kind of see when you use your fingers, it uses the oil of your fingers, so that keeps it it blends it into the paper a little bit better. You can see, of course, that my fingers are filthy. The last things we need to do is add our t-shirt and our hair and any earrings or anything else you might want to add. So I'm going to cover up my face for a few minutes because I don't want to smear it, and I'm going to choose a hair color. So girls, you want to find a color that you like. Now if you want to be really crazy and you've always wanted purple hair and you want to do your hair in purple, you are welcome to do that, okay? Otherwise, I tend to have kind of a light brown, dark blonde. So I'm going in and I'm just putting lines in for my bangs. And then I am adding all of the hair to the top. I started with this dark yellow, which I also used for part of my skin tone. And we're going to make sure that there is hair. A lot of times you'll have a little bit of hair that comes in front of your ear or just above it. And you're going to go ahead. Now your hair might be really curly, so then your hair wouldn't be these straight lines. So we're just going to basically put them in to start with. And I'll show you what we're going to do after we get the yellow in. Because this isn't going to look exactly like us, but we're using some of our facial features to give us an idea. So I started using it on the side, and I'm going to smear it, and then we'll put more lines on top of it. But by smearing it, that way we're getting rid of that real black, dark color that comes through. You don't have to worry about it so much on your forehead because you've already put the skin tone in. And you can see how it changes the face once we put . beginning. You can take other colors. I'm going to take some of my light brown and I'm going to use that to put partially over. My hair, now that I'm going in with the yellow, and I'm going to add some of the lines that we're not going to blend in as much. Now I made those kind of wavy. My hair is not wavy at all, but because I'm doing a drawing, I can make this person who has some features like me have wavy hair if I want. Just like you could give yourself purple hair if you wanted. If you do purple, you can mix blue in there as well. But you can see how the lines stand out from the background. This is the dark brown, and I'm just putting in a little bit of that because most hair color has more than one tone. If you have really, really dark hair, it might just feel really dark, and that's fine too. But if you have lighter hair, you can go ahead and add a couple different colors. So if you decide to do purple, use some blue, some dark blues to go with it maybe. And you can see by making your lines curvy or wavy, that changes the way the hair looks. And I'm not going to blend those darker lines in. I'm just going to let them be the way they are. I'm going to wipe my fingers off on my paper towel, and we're just going to move to the very last part of our drawing. Now I know you're like, oh, that's not exactly the right skin tone. That's okay. We're just playing around with the chalk, and I kind of like how bright that is, so I don't really want to blend it in. I just want to leave it. The one thing I might do is blend in just a little. I put a little kind of a curvy line here, and oftentimes under the lip there's a little indent. So I added just a little white there, a little white on the sides of the mouth, just a tiny bit. We can take one of our darker colors. You could do a black or a dark brown. Just put a little curved line under there, outline your chin. So what color do you want to do your shirt? I have not decided what color I want to do mine. I think I want something bright, and since I did yellowish brown hair, I think maybe a blue or an aqua green might be good. So you can see how that looks. It really stands out nicely. You can just do that on the side. I'm going to take the one that's just a little bit darker and put that along the neckline and on the shoulders just for a little outline. You can blend that or you can leave it unblended. That is up to you. You could put a necklace on. I'm putting a little necklace on. I'll put a little cross on it. And my ears are pierced. I don't know if you guys wear earrings yet, but you could put earrings in. Or maybe your ears aren't pierced and you wish they were, and you can draw in your earrings even if you don't have any. That's okay. Just gonna blend that a bit. There you have it, our chalk drawings. Now, they might not look like you, but they might have certain features. And this was hopefully a fun experiment, playing with chalk, learning how to put all the parts of the face in the right parts of the face. Your eyes, your brows, your nose, your lips, your neck, and your shirt. I hope you had a lot of fun doing your drawing. Please post it on Seesaw. I can't wait to see it. I hope you guys have a great last couple of weeks. And it's been so fun making you guys art lessons. I hope that you can remember all the cool things that you learned. And I hope you have a wonderful start to the coming fall. But before that, of course, enjoy your summer.